Welcome to the Elevator Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Madden. I've had an amazing 35 years in the elevator industry, and now I'm ready to pay my knowledge forward. Let's dive right in. Welcome to the Elevator Entrepreneur. I'm excited to be here with Chris Gutkes, Island
Gutkes.
Elevator.
Gutkes.
Chris Gutkes, let's reset.
Ugh.
Welcome to the
He's so
Elevator
excited that he doesn't
Entrepreneur.
know how to pronounce my name. Thank you, Sean Maiden.
Yeah. Welcome to the Elevator Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm excited to be here with Chris Gutkes, Island Elevator. Chris, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got in the industry, and what brought you to today.
Well, what brought me here today was an invitation from my good friend Sean. My background is that I was actually born into the industry. I'm fourth generation elevator. Grandfather was president of Local 1 for about 20 years. He was able to facilitate my entry. Obviously, I was very grateful for that, an opportunity that I was able to take advantage of. My father started his first elevator company in 1989, failed, went under, and in the meantime, I was filling up 5-gallon buckets of oil from a 55-gallon drum that was in our garage. So grew up, went through that experience, joined the Army, came out. At that time, my father was on his second iteration, the first version of Island Elevator, and went to go cut my teeth with ThyssenKrupp. Local office, worked for their adjuster, and it was exceptional experience. It's really how I learned how to make money with my hands by solving problems on equipment. Then in 2005, my father hired me away from Thyssen. It was just the two of us in a windowless office in Wyandanch, New York, 85 units. We built that up. Today we have, I think, 18 or 20 employees, 500 or so units. And we're pretty proud of what we've accomplished. I was building stuff up on my own man, and then in 2016, he died suddenly, heart attack. And at that point, I was basically shotgun president. So I went from the field and managing field operations and equipment to coming into the office and managing financial statements and people, which really makes me miss the equipment.
No, that's an amazing story. Sorry about your father passing away. So that's 9 years ago now, and obviously you found a way to be successful. So
If you could call
congratulations.
this successful, I didn't find a way. It wasn't written in a book. Nobody told me how to do it. I had to kind of figure it out. And in the meantime, I made expensive mistakes. And then I went and I got a little education. There was a program here. It's called Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. So we went ahead and lost a bunch of money, but I kept repeatedly seeking out more and more education. And in that education, I was able to kind of fill in some of the gaps and provide a little maturation. The way that I think about it is almost like a apprenticeship for becoming an entrepreneur. And just like when I was coming up and putting my hands on the equipment, I made a lot of mistakes, but through grit and focus and determination, I hung in there long enough to accidentally become good at it.
That's awesome. Am I really still froze up?
Yes.
It is very frustrating.
I guess you're just lucky. Go play a scratch off today. If you want to do like a cut and then we'll come back and, I fixed my internet connection.
Let me try. I'm going to reset and I'll be right back.
Hello, welcome back, audience. I'm the new host of the Elevator Entrepreneur. Today, I've got Sean. He's going to tell us how to connect our router.
Right. Connect the router. Perfect. Yeah, if you're going to run a successful elevator company, make sure you have a solid router in your office so your office isn't going to have to wait on delays. So, Chris, tell us an issue that you've had in your business or an issue you see in the elevator industry. And let's talk through a little bit about the challenges and maybe something you've done to fix it or some ideas you have on fixing it.
Well, you've got two different questions that you asked me. One is about the business and the other is about the industry. And
Yep.
one of which I am intimately experiencing and the other I just have opinions on from the sideline. So if we were to talk about my business, one of the challenges that I'm having right now is trying to balance growth with hiring, because hiring is such a large commitment. And then how much hiring do I need to make versus do I need to upgrade the team? So right now we have a person who is not able to keep pace out in the field. They've been with us for a few years, and I tried to go through an exercise where we were able to include the supervisors in order to create a performance improvement plan, which is something that we've never done before.
Yeah.
And the standards were so low that I had to make an executive decision that this is a performance that cannot be improved enough in a reasonable amount of time. So now I have to have a conversation with this person, which is just going to be just terrifyingly difficult. It's turning my stomach in knots because I
Yeah.
really genuinely like the person and they are very good. But in this position, I have to generate profits and I can't put my hands on the equipment. The most anxiety inducing moments are when I have to make cuts to good people
Yeah.
for the betterment of the team. I hate it. It's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
So
We talked about this a little bit in our community, but we didn't talk about the exiting people. And the exiting people was something that I obviously hated. And I think most entrepreneurs hate because you're building a business. And whenever you have to release somebody, it's frustrating because not only have you probably built a relationship with them and they're good people in general, but when they can't cut it, you have to do it. And somebody told me one time the best thing to think about when you're doing this kind of stuff is that you're actually doing them a favor because if they're in the wrong job, then they're not going to be able to excel. And I was like, well, that's an interesting way to put it because, like, if you're having a hard time with it, just help remind yourself. It's not like you're going to say that out loud, but help remind yourself you're actually helping
no,
them by
I think that's
releasing them.
a weakness in a CEO's personality because CEOs, for the most part, based on my experience, I don't know about you, Sean, are almost 100% ego driven. They really genuinely believe that they can change the world, and they
Yeah,
really genuinely believe that they are the ones changing the world.
right.
I didn't come up through that space. So when I see people trying to soften the blow of a difficult decision by saying that they're doing the right thing, that's just them trying to prop up your ego instead of just eating it, bite the bullet, look the person in the eye and tell them, like, listen, these are the priorities. This is the decision I have to make. It's not personal, it's business.
Absolutely. And one of the ways that I did it was scorecards and tracking what they were doing. And people would fire themselves because we would put a plan in place and essentially they knew what they needed to do. And every week they could see that they wasn't doing it. And eventually it was like, hey, this isn't getting solved. You're not hitting the numbers you got to hit. And then by the time we sit down to get rid of them, it's like, listen, it's not even a conversation. You know, you're not pulling your weight. The team's not going to put up with it. Sorry, you got to go.
If there's one thing that we have to improve here at Island Elevator, it's that scorecard system that you just mentioned. Performance evaluations will lead to more productive conversations with the team member, and
Yeah.
it'll also lead to more productive performance improvement plans.
Right.
And like you said, everybody will be on the same page, but we don't have a really good system for that here, so it's messier than it should be.
Yeah. Well, and that's not uncommon, really. Like most companies I've seen, the $1 to $10 million range, they really don't have solid systems in place, and they have to put bits and pieces. But it's like, what is the challenge? Okay, let's go solve that challenge, and then they'll work on building a process around how to improve it in the future. You only have so much time as a growing business, so taking a real big project like that and trying to push it into your business is difficult.
You still have to start with the high arching goal, and then you've got to take, like, how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. So we just have to try to take a little bit at a time. AI is doing a fantastic job of helping us to develop readable, logical formats for documents that none of us have ever even seen before. It's a work in progress, but we understand that we need to get there so that we can have better conversations like you had at Madden.
Well, it didn't start that way. I mean, when we started, it was okay, we got this challenge. We don't know how to deal with it. How do we fix this? And we ended up firing people and they didn't know why. And everybody's pissed off. And it's like, all right, how do we have a better system? And then pull that system together. Everybody knows. I had this thing called a learn and earn program, and they had to go in and take CET. And every time they took a class, they got a little raise 25 cents, 50 cents. So every time they passed a test, they got a raise and everyone seemed to really love it. You could see where you come in at $20 an hour, you grow into a mechanic, you get your CET, you get your CETS, you get your QEI, you can be $50, $60 an hour. You know exactly how to get there, right? And so they loved it. And then when they wasn't doing their work and there was performance reviews, that was part of it. It's like, where are you at in your CET program? The performance review doesn't always have to be about education and learning, but it has to also be about their production and what they have to accomplish. It takes a long time to figure out, and you have to continually improve it. I come from an engineering background, so a lot of times I want everything figured out on the front end. And I think one of the things I learned over time is that's not realistic. And it's better off to just jump in with the best you got and then work on improving it. That's really it.
I hear you, but it's just like walking around with permanent indigestion because I don't like starting crap that I already know is crap and then try to get my fingers into it and turn it into something. The bottom line is that I want to be better, but sometimes my own need to make something beautiful before I deploy it actually stands in my way.
100%. I had the same problem because I wanted everything perfect. And what I learned through a lot of classes that I went to is it's never going to be perfect. Try to get 80%, 90% there, and then put it in place slowly, and then have a system to keep learning from it and keep improving it. And that's one of the biggest things I wanted to do is I wanted to set up all the systems and put them in place and then say run and then back away, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, exactly. So then the other question that you asked me is what's my opinion on the industry? So this is a little bit more philosophical. You have to have some sort of standards that you live by, a personal philosophy and a business philosophy. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as I'm concerned, the elevator industry wouldn't lift a finger to save the elevator industry. There is a very small percentage of actual elevator operators that are out there advocating and working on behalf of the customer and the employee. Everybody else is trying to line their pockets and buy a ranch in Texas or do whatever kind of goofy stuff they're doing. And these OEMs are just borderline stealing from their customers, one job after the next, as I go out there. And for the industry to sit back, put their hands in their pockets, and pretend like everything's okay, it's an insult to people that actually work for a living in order to try to make a difference. If there was a actual movement to raise standards and to hold up the contractors that we actually want to celebrate, I would be behind that 100%. But that's just not the case right now. Everybody is trying to act in their own best interest, and it is just
Yeah.
there's nothing that you can do for that. You can't even organize people at this point.
You've been in this industry a long time, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, what I call the roll up period. And I've seen this 3 times now. But if you look back about every 10 years, our industry goes through a roll up phase where somebody comes in and starts buying up all the independents, all the people that's really doing a great job taking care of the clients, and they all get rolled up. And then customers get mad, employees get frustrated, and then a lot of
You
startups
skipped a
start.
step there. You skipped a step there, Sean. You're trying to be too diplomatic. They rolled everybody up and then they stabbed the business to death. And
Yeah.
then the customers got agitated. And then the talent says, forget you. They break up, they start their own elevator companies, and then the whole process starts all over again.
I've been through 2 roll-ups, or well, 3 now myself.
It's super predictable that these roll-ups always go in the same exact way. But Sean, you're too much of a diplomat. I'll tell you what, a little piece of advice. I think that your eGrow program is very good at supporting elevator entrepreneurs, especially aspiring entrepreneurs. I think that you guys would definitely benefit from being able to provide a module or a workshop on selling your business or being acquired because there's just so much noise out there. Do I get a broker? Do I not get a broker? What's an LOI? How do I go ahead and make sure that I'm protected? How do I make sure that I get paid the last check? You know, because these guys, they can't be trusted any more than a general contractor can be trusted. So I think that some guidance from somebody who's been through it would be hugely beneficial because it's not going to stop. For all those elevator entrepreneurs out there, definitely sign up for Sean Madden's course. It's not like a master's degree or anything, but if you don't have the experience in running your own business, then I highly recommend that you get some education. It's the only thing that helped me maintain my sanity because you cannot run a business as a field employee. Field employees do not make great business owners. They don't even make great supervisors most of the time. So
Yeah.
a lot of this is about managing the books, managing cash flow, and managing the people. And Sean's eGrow program will give you an introductory, and it's getting better every couple of months. There's a new workshop.
Yeah. I heard that right before I locked up. And that's a great idea for a workshop. So thank you for that. And I appreciate the plugs. So, Chris, take us home with what's one piece of advice, golden nugget? What would you recommend out there for our listeners?
If I was talking to a helper, I would tell them to stop complaining, show up on time, and learn your trade, right? Because the company will not cut off their nose despite their face. All right.
Yeah.
So that's number one. If I was talking to the mechanic, I would say that you are on a lifelong learning journey. And once you become a mechanic, your learning doesn't stop. Okay. I've seen too many mechanics that get up there, they feel good, they get their first set of tools, and now they think they're boss. And you're not, right? And there will be guys that are getting into the business behind you and finishing in front of you. Okay. You're really only as good as your last installation. So you got to continue to stay with the technology, move forward and advance your technical skill set. And then as far as the managers are concerned, my heart goes to you. That is not an easy job. And the elevator entrepreneurs, same thing I would tell the mechanics, right? Continue to connect. I think I heard one time where they said that your net worth is equal to your network. Right. So you want to make sure that you're at least continuing to have the conversations with people inside the industry, people that are close, people that are adjacent. I talk to my competitors inside my region. I just sent one of my competitors a mod job, no strings attached.
Awesome.
One of my other competitors, we created like a little pool when he's high or when he's low and he needs to unload some guys off of his payroll temporarily until the next project starts. I load up on some of my work and then we kind of go back and forth. All of these things only happen because you went ahead and stuck your hand out, but you got to keep learning.
That's awesome. Man, some great advice all the way through from the helper all the way to the owner. So I really appreciate you being on the show and appreciate your patience and fortitude with this wonderful technology I'm using. And you have a great day. I appreciate it, buddy.
You got it, brother.
Thank you for listening to the Elevator Entrepreneur Podcast. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I will continue to empower my fellow elevator entrepreneurs.